What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. And it's official. It's been confirmed. Sorry. There we go. It's been confirmed. Rick Tocchet will not be returning to the Vancouver Canucks as their head coach. The news of this broke, I want to say, about 3 hours ago. I was actually out briefly when this news dropped, so I quickly rushed home and tried to get as much information as I possibly could regarding this. But my initial reaction was I was absolutely shocked and completely gutted that this has happened and that Rick Tocchet has chosen to leave. He wasn't fired, wasn't dismissed or anything like that. He chose to leave, or rather he chose not to re-sign his contract. I watched a little bit of Jim Rutherford's press conference that was announced directly following this. And he essentially said, he found out this morning that Rick Tocchet would not be returning. He got a call from Rick Tocchet's agent, and then Rick Tocchet himself called Jim and told him why he was not coming back. And now, of course, Rutherford did not disclose that, and nor should he disclose the reasons for Tocchet coming back, or rather for not coming back. He did mention that they were personal. So it was a personal decision, and there were personal things involved. Rick Dollywall has came out and actually said, let me just quickly bring it up. Where is it? Rick Dollywall reported an hour ago that he's been told that the Canucks made Rick Tocchet a terrific offer, very solid, and one that would be considered a top offer around the league. Tocchet just felt it was time for a change. Cam Robinson also is reporting this, saying, basically echoing the same thing and essentially saying money wasn't the issue. Frank Saravelli is saying the same thing as well. I believe it was Satir Shah even said the same thing. But just scrolling through Twitter here, and obviously Elliot Friedman is the one who initially reported this happening before a actual full-on statement was made by the Vancouver Canucks. And let me actually quickly bring up the statement if I can. Give me one quick sec. But yeah, so as I mentioned, my initial reaction was shock. This was not something that I was expecting today. I was actually kind of expecting and hoping for the opposite of this, and that the Canucks were announcing that Rick Tocchet was in fact re-signing. I do think that perhaps he may have made his decision yesterday, but he didn't want it to come out yesterday due to the election and whatnot. He didn't want to interrupt the election. Excuse me. And that's, I think, why they waited until today to announce this. Sorry, it's taking a long time to load to get the graphic. There we go. I think I got it now. So apologies for the delay there on that. So yeah, let me just quickly bring it up. But now, of course, the question turns to Who are the Canucks gonna bring on to replace Rick Tocchet? Rick Tocchet, at least in my opinion, is not someone who's easily replaceable. Now I know Tocchet had his haters. We'll call them haters. He had his haters, his detractors, his critics. Yes, I critiqued a couple things that Tocchet, decisions that he made, but they were simply critiques. I wasn't a hater of Rick Tocchet. I actually grew to absolutely love Rick Tocchet as a coach. I think I've mentioned previously on this podcast that I wasn't quite sure when he first came in, simply because I was a big fan of Bruce Boudreau and absolutely adored Boudreau, and I was really unhappy with the way that Boudreau was treated. And then in comes Rick Tocchet. I'm like, okay, I'll give this guy a chance. And then he goes and he wins Coach of the Year and takes us to the second round of the playoffs. He helped bring playoff hockey back to Vancouver. Not all on his own. Obviously, the team, did the most work. But the fact that he came in, finished off the season that Boudreau took over, or he basically took over from Boudreau, like towards the end of the season or whatnot. And then his first full season with the Canucks, wins the Jack Adams and takes them to the second round of the playoffs. I know. Sorry. There we go. There we go. There's the actual press release that they had. Vancouver Canucks announced Rick Tocchet will not return as head coach. So there's the official press release for those that have not seen it. There was, I believe, also, just quickly see if there's something else. I do want to go over some tweets here. I won't show them on the screen, but you even have Rob Williams, the hockey guy, going out and saying Canucks can't afford a practice facility, and it looks like they can't afford their coach either. Terrible look for the organization. Say whatever you want about Tocchet. He was the guy they wanted, and he was the guy Hughes wanted. And he's not wrong. He was the guy that Alvin and Rutherford wanted, and the guy that Quinn Hughes clearly wanted. But this tweet was also posted 3 hours ago, so this was before it came out that money wasn't an issue. Obviously the first thing people think of is obviously the first thing people thought of was maybe the money's not enough. Maybe they lowballed Tocchet, and maybe that's why Tocchet is leaving. But it's been essentially confirmed that money was not the issue, and the Canucks gave Rick Tocchet a very, very good offer, and he just thought it was time for a change, which is unfortunate. It absolutely sucks. Even right now, it's almost 4:00, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. This was the last thing that I was expecting to happen. I wasn't completely convinced that Tocchet was coming back, but I had him at like a 50-50% chance. But moving over to some of the things that Rutherford said in his press conference. I'm just trying to find some quotes here. Let's see. Okay, let me quickly. But I will say one thing that I noticed during the press conference, and one thing that I absolutely did not like. But the fact that it was just Jim Rutherford at the press conference, he mentioned that Patrick Allvin was actually en route to Dallas, so he was not available, and that he would be back on Sunday. So it was just Jim Rutherford. What I would like to know is where the heck is Francesco Aquilini? Like, why was he not there? I mean, is he hiding because of, not necessarily the flack that he's getting from the Canucks fans or the outrage from Canucks fans, but it's like we haven't seen or heard from Aquilini in feels like forever. And not only is he raising the ticket prices for next season, but you're the owner of this team. You need to take some accountability. And especially after the season that we had, he didn't even show up at the end of season presser. And it's like, he needs to show up and take accountability. I get, Rutherford is the president of hockey operations. Alvin is the GM. They have more of a hand in it, but Aquilini has as much of a role in it as them, I would say. Not completely, but he's the one, with the money. He's the one who, is responsible for the hiring of Rutherford and Alvin. He should at least, be a part of this press conference, especially when it revolves around your head coach, who you've now lost. So that is one thing that really irks and, quite frankly, and for lack of a better term, pisses me off, that he's been quiet. He's been MIA. And I think he needs to take accountability, and he should have been at this. I mean, granted, they had this press conference, they basically kind of pulled it out of their ass and, quickly announced it and did their best to try and get it together because of how, breaking this news was. So maybe Aquilini didn't have time to get down there, but him not even being at the end of season presser just does not sit well with me. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Should he at least speak up and, be a part of the conversation and have an explanation for the fans? So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Aquilini being quiet and missing from all of this. Do you think he should, step up and, take some accountability for what's happened this year? So I'm just quickly looking at Canucks Army Twitter. It says Adam Foote's contract has expired, believed to be cleared to speak to other teams. So it looks like Adam Foote will be leaving as well. I won't go too much into that, as I might actually want to do a video on its own about that, but we'll see. But that's not only is losing Rick Tocchet going to be difficult and is such a blow, but losing Adam Foote would be a huge blow as well, because this blue line, this defense, has finally managed to turn it around, and that's in large part due to Rick Tocchet and Adam Foote, and now Foote might be on his way out. I did feel as though, if Tocchet goes, Adam Foote goes, probably Sergei Gonchar, although some people are saying Sergei Gonchar was probably already going to leave prior to Rick Tocchet saying that he was leaving, as he was more part-time, and that Rick Tocchet actually said at the end of the season press that they were looking to move away from part-time, so he was probably talking about Sergei Gonchar. Jimmy Rutherford did mention in his press conference that Rick Tocchet had come to him about bringing in a new assistant coach, or rather another assistant coach, and that Rutherford had approved it, but it seems like Tocchet's decision was literally made within the last few days. Because if he's talking to Rutherford about, bringing on a new assistant coach or another coach, this must have happened. His decision may have been made like recently. Like, this wasn't something that he was stewing on for like the last few weeks or so. But looking down, Rutherford did mention that he called Quinn Hughes to discuss Rick Tocchet, but he hasn't heard back from the captain. Obviously, Hughes and Tocchet had a very close relationship, and now the question turns to how is Quinn Hughes going to feel about Rick Tocchet leaving, and what does this mean for the future of Quinn Hughes? Says here he provided an update on Tom Willander. I'm not going to play the video, but he did joke about coaches coming here. He's quoted as saying they probably want to come here because they like where we practice. So I do like the humor from Rutherford, but I'm not really sure if this is the right time to do humor considering what just happened. But not to be a downer. I mean, I do love Jimmy's humor, but I think humor is the last thing you want to do right now, and that's just me. Rutherford does say that Mike Sullivan wants to stay in the East. Vancouver likely won't be an option for him, which works out for me because I was actually planning a Mike Sullivan / Rick Tocchet video for today. And so now I'm going to be scrapping that, and we're doing this one instead. So, but moving down, says he, okay, let's see if I can find somewhere that actually have quotes, not just videos. There's a quote from Jim Rutherford about Quinn Hughes, and it looks like a lot of Canucks fans on Reddit are not happy with this quote. So the quote is as follows. I hope he's playing golf, and this is referring to Quinn Hughes. I hope he's playing golf because he usually returns my calls right away, and I called him within half an hour of talking to Rick, and he hasn't called me back. Says Jim Rutherford when asked if he's talked to Quinn Hughes about Tocchet's departure. Now, I have to agree with people. That's not... Now, first, he has the quote about bringing his brothers to Vancouver at the end of season presser. And now he's making this quote. I think Rutherford needs to... I actually agree with one of the top comments saying, Jim, please shut up. Okay, I've already mentioned how much I like the transparency from Jim Rutherford, but there are times where he just needs to shut up, and he needs to think before he speaks. Patrick Allvin is the same way. I've already commented on Allvin and his, lack thereof, thinking before he speaks. And this is another scenario in that case. I think, Rutherford is falling into the trap of people asking him questions, and he's just saying things that he shouldn't be saying. And I agree with one of these other comments saying Jim needs a muzzle. Yeah, I think he definitely does need a muzzle. A lot of people are saying, Manny Malhotra could be a good candidate, and Jimmy even actually said that he is probably on their short list. I do like the idea of Manny Malhotra being brought up, but at the same time, he's doing so well in Abbotsford. Do you really want to take that away from him? And would you much rather see that through? Trying to find more. More quotes. Let's see here. I'm just gonna look at some tweets from Noah Strang. Maybe he has some quotes. Here we go. When Rutherford was asked why a coach would want to come to the Canucks, I mentioned that quote. Rutherford says, because I like where we practice. Then he went on to give his real pitch. He doesn't show what his real pitch is. Oh, here we go. Jim Rutherford, when he was asked about his own future, he paused before answering, I don't think about it a lot, so I guess I'm not thinking about leaving town. I'm still here for the same reasons, and I don't feel comfortable with the job that I've done. We have a lot of work to do. He also says, Rutherford, that is, says Rick Tocchet wanted to move back to the Eastern USA and be closer to his family. It was part of the reason Tocchet left. Rutherford is mentioned as saying it's a little bit surprising about him finding out Tocchet wanting to leave. He also says him leaving is very disappointing, and that Canucks did everything in their power to keep him. Looking for some more. There is one here that he's paraphrasing Jim Rutherford, but him talking about Tom Willander, basically saying Tom Willander will need to choose if he wants the next 2 years in college or making millions of dollars being a professional with the Canucks. That is pretty bold, I would have to say, for Rutherford to say. It sounds like almost he's kind of giving Willander a ultimatum. So let's see if I can let me see if I can narrow it down, because I'm seeing a bunch of election stuff. So maybe I'll just search in Canucks. There we go. Let's see here. Trying to find. Here's one from JPAT talking about how 1 year ago Canucks were up 3-1 on Nashville after a 50-win, 109-point season and division title. The team had 6 All-Stars, the Norris winner, and the Coach of the Year 1 year ago. That's a really good point. Also, we got Jabo saying, Jabo Vancouver. One thing you know about Manny Malhotra is there won't be room to hide for the players when the coach is in the gym busting his ass, and they aren't. Good point. And then you have Wyatt Arndt. The Canucks fan base has put up with a lot of trash over the last 10 plus years, which is why it was so insulting to have the team run and jack the ticket prices up so much the second they had one good season. He's not freaking wrong there. And then here's one. Jabo is kind of echoing the same thing that I'm saying as well. Here's where I need the owner to step up in front of the microphone and answer some questions. He has been hiding for too long. And I 100% agree on that with Jabo. It's like what I just said. Like, where the heck is Francesco Aquilini? And why is he not stepping up and answering some questions? Like, you own this team. Like, step up. A lot more talking about the Canucks' offer. Let me see. No. Let me just check out Dollywell. Maybe he has some quotes. He does. Rick Dollywell does say, "I believe Tocchet will not be held back from talking to other teams about jobs." I actually am curious to know how quickly Tocchet is going to sign with another team, or if he might take some time, due to these personal reasons that he alluded to as a reasons for him leaving the Canucks. I am curious to know if he will sign with another team right away, or if it might be like a month, maybe 2, before he signs with another team, or if he even does, sign with another team. And of course, Dollywall again here. The $1 million question is, what is Quinn Hughes' thoughts on Rick Tocchet leaving? Yeah, definitely $1 million question. Canucks looking for their 4th coach in 4 years. Yeah, that is absolutely mind blowing to even say. And I don't see anything else when it comes to more quotes. So yeah. But man, this is absolutely unbelievable. Not something, as I said earlier, not something that I was expecting today. And it's just, it's like what Rev Trev of Kempner Canucks said the other day. This team loves drama. And you can add this to the list of things that have gone wrong for the Vancouver Canucks this season in particular. I remember I did a video on it, and you can find that on the channel, where, you know, what went wrong for the Canucks. You can add this to the list, you know, among, you know, the JT and PD rift. You can add this, you know, along with you know, the injuries, you know, Pettersson not playing up to his potential or his $11.6 million standards. But yeah, so this is, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. And I can't say it enough. This absolutely sucks. And not what I was expecting going into this offseason. You know, not only do they have to find a 2C, but they're most likely going to lose Brock Besser. It seems like now they're going to lose both Besser and Suter, because the Canucks still haven't even offered Suter a contract. Like, they haven't even negotiated at all since the end of the season, or since even during the later half of the season. Excuse me. At least with Besser, they actually gave him an offer. They haven't done the same with Suter. And considering what Suter did for them when PD was hurt and missed the last 5 or 10 games or whatever, when he was injured against the Rangers, and he stepped in as that number one center role, and he played fantastic. He played absolutely great, and he got up to 25 goals on the season. It's a career high for him. The man's going to get paid, but the fact that the Canucks haven't even offered him a contract is mind-blowing to me. So it's more and more looking like they're going to lose both Besser and Suter. You just lost Rick Tocchet. You traded JT Miller to the Rangers in January, and you are likely going to need, about three forwards. And two of those forwards are going to have to replace Besser and Suter. So on top of replacing those two, you also still need to find that second line center. On top of that, you're going to need to find a new head coach. So that is something added to the to-do list for this offseason. And this offseason already is not looking good for the Vancouver Canucks. And that is absolutely frustrating and stressful. And honestly, looking towards October and next season, I'm starting to question where this team is going to be, especially now knowing that Rick Tocchet won't be back. And then also it looking like Adam Foote won't be back either. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of this. And definitely I don't want to say dark, but you know what? Screw it. I'll say it. Definitely a dark day in Canucks land, and this is just absolutely devastating. And I really don't have any other words for this. But anyway, so once again, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. This was a bit of a longer video and a bit more, off the cuff, I would say, than what I usually do. But yeah, if you like this, go ahead and hit that like button. You can find us on social media. And yeah, you can find us on social media at Twitter/X @LineChangeVan. You can find us on Instagram @TheLineChange. You can find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change and you'll find our Facebook page. Also, if you're not subscribed to The Line Change and would like to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks and while they're in the playoffs, currently your Abbotsford Canucks content, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and then also hit that bell to stay notified every time we upload a new video. If you prefer a audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And yeah, so that's going to do it for this video. As always, go Canucks go, even though I know that's hard to say right now, considering what the news we got today. But hey, I still bleed blue. I still love this team. And I want to try and be a little bit positive, going into next season. But this is definitely a, 2 steps back move. And I guess we'll see what the future holds for the Canucks, future of Quinn Hughes, and what next season holds for the Vancouver Canucks. So that's going to do it for this video. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.